What up, Dodgers Nation? D-Mac here, and we're back with another episode of Dodgers Nation Mailbag, where we answer all your burning Dodgers questions, and we want you to be a part of future episodes. So be sure to look out for our tweets, look out for us on the YouTube community channel, and also if you have a video submission, record yourself asking a question, and we will answer it here on this show. But on today's episode, we're talking about the fire sale, Artie Moreno waving the white flag, placing players on the waiver wire. We're going to get into that. We're going to talk about the latest on JD Martinez, the injured players. Which of them can you count on to come back and have a big impact for the Dodgers? And who will the Dodgers call up in September when rosters expand to 28 players? All that more here on Dodgers Mailbag. But let's get right into it. And today I'm joined by producer Spencer. Spence, what's the first question today?
Will the Dodgers get any of the players that the Angels placed on waiver?
Will the Dodgers get any of the players that the owner, Artie Moreno, decided to place on waivers? And yes, was that his decision? Was it Perry Manias' decision? We don't know, but what we do know is that is a very inept organization. And I think that this time next year, we're going to have the Artie Moreno rule, where you aren't able to do what he did. And if you don't know, let's kind of circle back and break it down for you, because the Angels placed 5 players on waivers yesterday. Starting pitcher Lucas Giolito, relief pitchers Matt Moore and Ronaldo Lopez, and outfielders Hunter Renfroe and Randall Grichuk. And you see this Angels organization, and they were committed to going all in. When the deadline came around, the big question was, would the Angels trade Shohei Ohtani? Would they move him, or they risk basically only getting a compensation pick for him? Well, you saw what they did. They end up bringing in Lucas Giolito. They end up making some additions. And what I said at the time was, look, everyone out there is saying that, oh, the Angels are this, they're that. How great is it that the Angels are actually going all in and trying to compete? What I tell you, I said that trying to bank on the Angels to make the postseason is not the right move. I would never bet on Artie Moreno and that organization, because they not only have never sniffed the postseason, they've never had a winning record. To me, that was like investing in the Titanic after it hit the iceberg, right? And you saw what Artie Moreno did. He waved the white flag in a big way. He placed these players on waivers. And yes, it does make some sense for this organization because of Ohtani's injury, because they're out of contention. And with this, you can get under that CBT and avoid some penalties and save some money. But to me, this almost feels like an angry fantasy football owner that knows he's not going to win, so he just trades off all of his players and ruins the league. That is what this feels like. That's why I think you will see an Artie Moreno rule in the future to kind of prohibit this level of talent dumping. You cannot do this, because what this is going to do is this is going to strengthen those wild card teams. Because to get to the original question, will the Dodgers be able to get any of these players? The answer is most likely no, because if you look at the waiver order, the Dodgers, because they are a good team, they're towards the bottom. And teams that will really get a shot to get some of these guys like Lucas Giolito and Matt Moore, those are going to be the wild card teams, because that first crop of teams that are out of contention, they most likely aren't going to bring on these players, because all you do have to pay them is a prorated remainder of what's left on their salary. But since they're not competing for anything and these players are all on expiring deals, they're not going to want to bring in that talent. But if you look at a team like the Cincinnati Reds, who has been struggling this year as far as pitching, they're 28th in rotation ERA, that's an obvious landing spot for Lucas Giolito. And they could claim him and they would pay him $1.7 million. Now, would the Reds do that when you consider that they have a 10.7% of chance of making the postseason? Maybe they will, maybe they won't, and maybe Giolito slides to another team. But the reality is that wild card teams are going to improve because of this. And I think the reason why this is bad for baseball, for a myriad of different reasons, is that baseball is the sport that's the ultimate crapshoot, right? I mean, if you get into the dance, if you get an opportunity to make the postseason, there's a chance that you can win. Just ask the Florida Marlins, who have 2 World Series titles, but have never done that, having won their division, right? So I think this really helps a team like possibly the Giants, a team like the Reds, maybe even the Cubs, that can add some talent and help their chances. Now, if the Dodgers were able to get one of these guys, the name that makes the most sense is Matt Moore. He's been one of the better relievers in Major League Baseball over the last 2 seasons. The Dodgers do need a left-handed reliever. If you look at right now, Caleb Ferguson, you got Victor Gonzalez. I don't think he's going to make the postseason rotation or even be in strong consideration. You have Alex Vesia, who, when he's on, when he's commanding the zone, when he's hitting his spots, he can be very effective out there, but it would be nice to have another left-handed pitcher. And I know that a lot of Dodgers fans would love to see Matt Moore in Dodger blue, but I will say, I bring my facts to the fight. And one thing you need to know, that is, even though he's a lefty, he's struggled against left-handed hitters this year. Opponents are hitting 840, have an 841 OPS compared to a 537 OPS against righties, but still he's been very good. Now, will he come all the way to the Dodgers? Will he slip and fall into their lap? I think it's unlikely, but if it does happen, I could absolutely see this team going after him. And I see people out there as well saying, how about Lucas Giolito, when you consider that he's a Harvard Westlake guy, he grew up a Dodgers fan, they've been linked to each other for quite some time now. Would Lucas Giolito make sense? Yeah, you can never have enough pitching, but I also want to point out that Giolito, he struggled mightily in Anaheim. In 6 starts, he has a 6.89 ERA. Now with the Dodgers, probably would improve that number because of their ability to optimize and max out players, but still, I just don't think he's going to fall into them. So, one, the Dodgers are probably not going to have access to any of these players, but still, Thursday, that's the deadline to add players through the waiver, and it'll be very interesting to see if they can get anyone through that waiver wire that could help them in the postseason. But Artie Moreno, I mean, this is just embarrassing. An absolute clown show of an owner, just punting on this season. Like I said, he's an angry fantasy football owner. Like I said, this is someone that just waved the white flag. And mark my words, I'm telling you right now, there will be a Moreno rule because I think this is not good for the game. The fact that you can dump talent like this and help a wild card team, and we know this is a sport where if you get hot, you have a good chance of going deep in the postseason. But yeah, I think it's unlikely the Dodgers will get any of these guys that are available. But the name that makes the most sense is Matt Moore. Ronaldo Lopez, he's interesting. Hunter Renfroe looks like Mike Trout. Randall Grichuk, that doesn't make sense at all. So it'll be very interesting to see how it works out, but it's probably not going to happen. The waiver wire, the claims are awarded in reverse order based on winning percentage. So that's the number one thing you need to know. And the order is going to be set after Wednesday's game. So it'll be interesting to see kind of one more point how teams will handle that as far as gamesmanship goes, because after today, that is when you place that order. And we're going to see, because that's going to be the last day to pick up players for the postseason roster. But that's going to do it for this episode of Dodgers Nation Mailbag. My name is Doug McCain. You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at DMAC_LA. If you haven't yet, be sure to subscribe to the Dodgers Nation YouTube channel. Hit that subscribe button. Hit that notification bell. And until next time, think blue, bleed blue, and I'm out.